Hello, Servo Components and Systems here again, just to show you how we go about setting up a harmonic motor with a Copley drive. We've got an absolute encoder on this, and with no halls, and this is the encoder data. But first of all, we need to make sure that we can enable amplifier by placing the SDO plug in, and on this module you can see we've got an override plug which we can bypass any wiring. There you go, now we've got the safe talk, it's all the green lights are on. But to do that we needed to override the input so that we could ensure that we had a hardware enable on and that the motor temperature input is set correctly. And then we've got to enter the data in for the motor and the feedback device, and this you'll get from the data sheet. Just make sure you follow the instructions on the data sheet. So there we go, we're going to save that data. And now we need to do an auto phase. So the first thing you need to do is to move the motor in the direction that you wish positive to be. Here we can see we move it a few counts to make sure we are reading the encoder. And now it's going to check the motor wiring. So the motor will move a little bit during this process. There we go, everything's fine. Now we go on to the next stage where we check the phase count. And here we're going to make sure the motor moves one turn of the motor. And this motor has a 100:1 gearbox, so it'll be 100th of the output shaft. So we have to assume it's moved one rev, but the data matched up, so we assume we're okay. And now we're going to do a phase test to make sure we get the phase angle correct, to ensure we get the right power into the motor. Get it as efficient as possible. Basically the 2 arrows have to line up, which they've almost done now. And now that's configured. And now we move on to do the tuning. So you've got a number of methods. We can do auto-tune the current, as I've started to do here, but then I've cheated and just gone in to do the manual tuning. So I've stopped that one. Going to the manual tuning using the oscilloscope, and first of all we select the current generator and monitor the commanded current and the actual current, and you can adjust the gains to optimize it. Now we're into velocity. There you can see when you're doing the velocity we'll actually move the motor, and now we're going into position loop, and we'll move the motor again in a minute. There we go. So you can see it's reasonably tuned. There's no load on this motor, so it will need to be done when it's fully loaded, but it gives you a clue. There we go, it's working, everything's good. Now I can demonstrate it going into jog mode using the control panel just to move it backwards and forwards. There we go, very quick and easy. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.